同學，今次我們將會學習 individual response skills for answering questions. Concept: individual response skills for answering questions. Identifying the question. Since you are not given any preparation time for Part B, it is crucial that you identify the question type as quickly as possible so that you can think of how to answer the question immediately. The objective of Part B is to test your skills on presenting personal opinion and thoughts in an organized way. Impress the examiner to give your discussion score a raise. There are four main types of questions in Part B. Types of questions. Key phrases in the questions. Expressing personal opinion and feelings. Key phrases. In your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of? What do you think? What would you like to? Choosing an option and justifying your choice. Key phrases. What would you like? Why? Which do you think is suitable? Which one do you choose and why? Would you prefer A to B? Deciding and explaining a plan. Key phrases. How can you? How would you? What do you suggest? What will you do if? Arguing for or against a position. Key phrases. Do you agree? Do you think? Is it a good idea to? Why or why not? Is it necessary to? Why or why not? Phrasing your answers. Number 1. Express your opinions and feelings. Start with, I believe, personally speaking, in my opinion, I think. Number 2. Choosing an option and justifying the choice with one or two reasons. To choose an option, I prefer to, I'd choose, I'd rather than, I think would be more suitable for, I think would suit best. To justify the choice, it is because the first reason is, another reason is, the reason why I chose is that. Number 3. Deciding and explaining a plan. You may be asked to put yourself in a situation and think of how to solve the problem or give suggestions or plans. Say, if I were, I would, I could also. What will I do first is to, then, I would, I suggest that we, if it's possible that. Number 4. Arguing for or against a position. You may be asked to show your stance, argue for or against a position briefly. To make your presentation more persuasive, you should follow your statement with good reasoning and explanations. Say, I agree that, I disagree that, I think it's right to, I don't think it's right, it's true. I strongly believe that, a good idea. Organizing your ideas. How you can present your ideas in an organized way? There can be 3 parts in a structured presentation. A. Show your stance. B. Give an explanation and some examples. C. Give a brief conclusion. You can allow the examiners to follow your answers. Use appropriate connectives for the following functions. Expressions to use. Show sequence of thoughts. Expressions to use first, secondly, lastly. Add information. Expressions to use also and not only but also. What's more? State causal relationship. Expression to use as, because, so, therefore. Give examples. Expressions to use, for example, for instance. So in contrast. Expression to use, however, on the one hand, on the other hand. Sum up ideas. Expression to use, in conclusion, to sum up, to conclude. Language support for giving an answer. Function. Buying time. Well, thank you for your questions. What I mean is, actually, in fact. How to make a structured answer to individual response in the speaking paper? Number 1. Look at the examiner with a smile. Number 2. Listen to the question carefully. Number 3. If you don't understand the question, say, pardon? Number 4, if you understand, follow the steps below. A. Well, then rephrase the question in your own words. B. I think, I agree with it. Or I don't think, I agree with it. C. There are 2 reasons for this. D. First of all, for example. E. Secondly, for example. F. So. G. Thank you. Practice. Record your answers to the following questions. Ask your tutor to give you some comments. Number 1. Have you ever written a blog? Number 2. What subject matter would you like to write a blog about? Number 3. What problems could occur if you wrote about personal things in your blog? Number 4. Would you prefer to write a blog in your first language or in English? Now, do the exercise to test yourself by Exercise. Record your answer to the following questions. Ask your tutor to give you some comments. Question 1. Have you ever written a blog? Question 2. What subject matter would you like to write a blog about? Question 3. What problems would occur if you wrote about personal things in your blog? Question 4. Would you prefer to write a blog in your first language or in English? Suggested answer to question 1. Have you ever written a blog? Suggested answer to question 2. What subject matter would you like to write a blog about? Suggested answer to question 3. What problems could occur if you wrote about personal things in your blog? Suggested answer to question 4. Would you prefer to write a blog in your first language or your English?